It's grade 11. Let us do this. Another text file program. This one is page 142, activity 2, number 1. You're going to do activity 2, number 2 by yourself. Data files for this and for the other activity will be on Google Classroom. You are now going to, well, I'm going to explain to you how to read from a text file and take each string that we read from the text file and break it up using string handling. This program asks us to read from this text file called gamers, and we're going to, each line we read, we're going to copy the name of the person, skip the comma, and then copy the age. And we're going to take the ages and put the names of the people who are 16 and above in the seniors, rich edit, and the names of the people that are below the age 16 we're going to put in the junior rich edit, RED junior and RED senior. All of this is going to happen in the display button. So let's double click the button and start. Well, we're going to read from the text file, double click the button, read from the text file, and remember what I said. We have to check if the text file exists. Text file's name is gamers.txt. Uppercase is important. If it doesn't exist, we will then show a message saying something like file not found, please load the file, to that effect, and exit. This is the simplest method and it works. Exit means this procedure will close and any code underneath that end will not happen. So we can assume we can go ahead and assign a text file variable. You can call it t file, anything you want. Text file, obviously something that you understand and you recognize. T file, assign file t file, comma, gamers.txt. Now, because we're reading from the text file, we reset. After the assign file statement, you never ever refer to the actual text file name, you only refer to the variable t file. And then always when you read, most of the time, 90% of the time, right, so now we read the first line and into a string. I'm going to call my string S line. So anything that you want to call it. Read line t file S line. Then we take S line, we break it up, and we're going to break it up into the name of the person and the age. And I'm going to have a strings for those. S name, S age. I don't need, well, I might need it as an integer. Well, they actually want us to get the average age, so let's go and make an integer. Well, we're going to call it rav. Might as well go make that variable there now. Anyway, let's go and see. They say that if the age is 16 and over, if you look on the previous page, page 141, they even got the code with you, but I'd rather explain it to you. Anyway, if the age is greater than or equal to 16, so we're going to go and copy from S line. Remember, S line we're copying from. So I'm going to say, first of all, S name. I'm going to put S name. First copy the name from S line, starting at 1, and the separator is a comma. So we're going to search for that comma and copy to just before it. We'll say pos of the comma in sline -1. And you might remember that. If you don't, let's go and figure it out, shall we? Look at all these names. Make it a bit larger for you. Okay, so Dan Amos. If I copy from the first character and I include all of these characters, I will have the name, and that is what this code does. Starting position at 1. There's no one here, so I've coughed into over the A. Starting position at 1, and the last character, or the number of characters is this last parameter, would be the pos of the comma -1, and that represents those characters. Then I'll delete from sline. Now I'm not going to need sline anymore, so delete. I mean, I don't need sline after this. I just want s name and s age. Sorry, not s age, r age, eh? R age. So our age is going to be string to int. Why? Because the sline is a string. And after we have copied from there and deleted that, including the comma, once we've deleted all that, we're left with 18. Okay, I know I'm playing with the text file. How did we delete? Well, starting from the first position, character number 1, number of characters deleted would be represented by the position of the comma. Number of characters is presented is the position of that comma, will be the number of characters that we're going to delete, and we're going to be left with the 18. We can safely convert that string to int to an integer. So we've got our age and s name. So we've got everything we need. Now we just have to test if our age is greater than or equal to 16. Then we're going to say already seniors. Senior dot lines dot add. We'll put in the name there. Now we have to have an average of the ages of all the people, because that's what it says. Calculate and display the average age of the gamers. We also have to calculate the number of juniors and the number of seniors. So if it's a senior, we better do 2 things. So if our age is greater than or equal to 16, we have to do 2 things. We have to add the name to the rich edit for seniors, and we also have to have a counter for seniors. R senior and R junior. I'm calling it that. Those counters need to be initialized to 0, otherwise we can't use them. They'll just be random numbers, any old number, local variables. So to count, well, this is good enough. Increment, or r7 equals r7 plus 1. So I'm counting the seniors there. Now what if it's not greater than or equal to 16? It will be anything else, wouldn't it? So else, plug in an end. Else we will go and put the name into the junior box and increment the counter for juniors. That's that done. Right, so we've got read the line, got the name from that line, deleted the name from that line, got the age, checked if it's greater than 16. If it's 16, we do two things, else we'll do two other things. Then, before we finish reading, before we go on to read the next line, don't forget this is the while loop here, that's the end of the while loop. Before we go off and go and read the next line, we have to go and do a total. Why? Of course, we have to calculate the average. So, guess what? I need another. You need a total and a counter to calculate the average. Now, I'm going to rely on these two for counters, but my total has to be another variable. And of course, initialize. Right, how do we calculate a total? I've initialized total. I tot equals the previous I tot plus our senior plus our junior. Well, that's not quite right, is it? Nope. It's definitely not. Because we're only counting one person. Each line that we read, we are adding we're adding one to our total of people. Oh, we're counting the age, sorry, we're totaling the age, not the number of people. It's the average age. If it's the average age, I'm glad I made the mistake, because now you can see it's so easy to make a mistake, especially when it's late. But anyway, the average age means we have to total the ages and then divide it by the number of people that there are. The number of people can be represented by these two counters here added up together, and that can be done at the end of our while loop, right over here. After all of this is done, then we say R as equals, okay? But inside the loop, we need to total up the ages. Average age means the total of all the ages added up. 16 plus 17 plus 18 plus 14 plus 15 plus 17 plus 16, all of these numbers here, add them all up and then count how many of them are. Basically the same as the count would be how many lines there are in the notepad, in the gamer's notepad file, but we don't do that. We have counters that we use, and we're going to use these counters here because it's just, we don't need to have another counter. We could have another counter here, increment our count, but it's not necessary. We have got the counting of the juniors and the counting of the seniors that can together be our total number of people, because they're not going to be seniors and juniors at the same time, because we have stipulated this else there. Age is greater than or equal to 16, they are seniors. If they're not, then they're juniors. Right, so there we're going to calculate our average. Now, this is the tricky part. You have to think of BODMAS here. If you don't, you'll make a mistake. Real. I had to put this in brackets because otherwise it will do the division first and then add the junior. That was a rather important point. You might forget to do that, don't forget BODMAS in programming. It's very, very, very important. All the mathematical rules apply. So there's the average calculate. We must make sure we do it after the loop. Okay, it will be the same even if we do it inside the loop, but we're not going to do the loop being this while loop. We're not going to do it inside that loop. It's best to do it after the loop. That's the more efficient way. Okay, now this is the end of the method there. Before this method ends, we have to display the number of we have to display the number of display the number of juniors and the number of seniors in the rich edit, and also display the average. So in the rich edit, we will display each one there. bottom we have to have the total of all gamers. Okay, average age of the gamers at the bottom of each. So they don't want the average age of, you know, everyone in total, because that would be the average age of everyone in total, that one. But if you want the average age of the juniors and the average age of the seniors, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to do it the average age of all gamers. So already senior, I'm going to go and put in how many seniors, number of senior players equals plus into string senior, and then I will do the same for the juniors. Already junior, number of junior players is interesting June, and then for both rich edits I will put in the average age of all learners. Average age of all gamers, sorry, learners don't play games. And then of course it's got to be float to string because our average. And we'll have this ff fixed, comma 8, comma 0, let's round it up to a whole number, hey? Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's go and run it and see if I'm correct. Got errors. I forgot to put an F there. You know, the float string F. If I'm going to use 4 parameters like that, you've got to have the formatting symbol there, F for format. Right, let's do this. Display. Number of senior players is 8. 4. Yep, 100% correct. And that's it, folks. And yeah, I think you're going to do activity 2, number 2 at home. I'll put the data files for this and for the other one on the Google Classroom, and have a happy time coding.